Remember we did fraction families a while ago? Hopefully these are coming kind of quickly to you. All right, so 12 and 6/10 is what as a decimal? Happy New Year, by the way. Okay, what about 46 and 39/100? Alex?
46.
Right. We say it like we write it. So if you say 46 and as a fraction, 46 and 39/100, you say it the same exact way as a decimal. 46 and 39/100. It's kind of why I put the place value chart up here. Since this 9 is referring to the hundredths place, you say it as 46 and 39/100, which is the same exact way as you'd say it as a fraction. Bridge? And that's good. You remember that it's 8.03 as opposed to 8.3. 8 and 3/100. The last one? Y 0.34, you're right. But why 0.34? What's it? Correct. Yep, you have to make an equivalent fraction over 100 in order to change it directly to a decimal. How many of you got letter D right? Okay, good. Okay, I found in period 2 that I had to review estimation a little bit. When you estimate, what you got to do first is you round the numbers. And by the way, just so you know, numbers that you add are called add-ins. I don't know if you're familiar with that terminology.
I've heard it.
All right.
I don't know so much.
What about in a subtraction problem? Do you remember what the first number is called? Say it. It's called the minuend. And this is called the? Subtrahend is correct. Okay. Minuend minus subtrahend. And in case you forgot, it's on the very first page. It's on the first page of lesson 9, the terminology. So if you forget, you can always look back on your cover page of your lesson 9. But anyway, you should be rounding first before you attempt to add or subtract. That's kind of the goal of estimation, is to try to do some of it in your head as much as you can. So 19.87 or 19 and 87/100 rounds to what whole number?
20.
20 sounds good. What about 40 and 18/100? Jackie? And the idea is to try to be able to do it in your head, which you can do. 20 plus 40 is?
60.
There you go. 60 is right. Good. All right, now with B and C, you should be able to round it pretty readily, but you may not be able to then subtract it in your head, which you may still have to do a little math on the side, which is fine. But let's do the rounding part together. 153 and 56/100 rounds to? Bridge? Nearest whole number, not the nearest tenth. So if you look at this, it's either going to be 153 or 154. Correct, 154. What about 95 and 33/100? Little Miss Smiles. Correct. And then you may have to do the math off to the side, because you may not be able to do that in your head. Anybody have an answer for that yet? We're still working on it. Who has an answer for it? Krista, what did you get? How many had 59? Sounds good. All right, anybody want to come up to the board and do say? Anthony. Come on up, buddy. Go for it. Just be careful, it is subtraction, but your rounding is fine. It's a good erasure job.
Not too big.
So far, so good. 195 is good. 195? Get it? Fantastic, then. Let's take a look at example 1. The way lesson 9 wants you to do this, if you're subtracting or adding, change it to it. First, we're going to estimate, but after you've done the estimation process, they want you to change everything to a decimal, add or subtract, change it back into a mixed number again. So 426 and 1/5. 1/5 was in your fraction family, so what does that convert to as a decimal? Ryan? You get 426.20, which is 21 hundredths. And 275 and a half is what is a decimal? Antonia. 0.5 or 0.50 is fine. If you want to drop the 0 at the end, it's an insignificant 0, it's fine. Okay, before you actually do it, they want you to estimate it. 426.20 rounds to what whole number? Emma. Great. And always double check, what are they asking us to do? Subtract, make sure we get that right. 275.50 rounds to what? Kaylee? Correct. Remember, 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest.
Yeah.
I think
5 or more, raise the score. It means bring it up, round it up. 4 or less, let it rest. Keep it as the whole number. What do you get? Somebody I haven't heard from. Tom. 150. So now when we actually do it, our answer should be somewhere around 150. So now we take the actual numbers and we subtract them. 426.20. That's your minuend. And you're subtracting 275, which is a subtrahend. 275.50. And just be careful when you borrow. Make sure you remember your borrowing principles. One thing I also want to point out in case you forgot, whenever we add or subtract, you always line up the decimals, remember? We kind of done that in the weekly reviews, but it's just a reminder. What do you have as an answer? Got to borrow carefully too. Mikey, what'd you got? Is that close to 150, which was our estimation?
Yep.
Absolutely, yes. Now all we need to do is we need to take that 150.70 or 150.7 and change it back into a mixed number. Krista. Right, if you put 70 over 100, that's okay too, but then you want to reduce that 70 over 100 to 7/10, and that becomes your final answer. Let's do one more together and then I'll put you in groups. You go to the next page, we'll do exercise 1 together. All right, so what do we need to do? Do you need to add or subtract? Jack. And that would be correct. Order matters, so Subtract what from what? Max.
245 and 7/50 to 128 and 53 100.
That is correct. Okay. All right, let's convert the mixed numbers to decimals first. 7/50ths becomes what as a decimal? Brian Russo. Good, you remembered. And then 128 and 53 hundredths is as is. Notice they're not asking you to estimate anymore. They just want you to do it. Somebody want to come up and do it? Bridge? Looks good. Wait, you're not out of the woods yet. We've got to change it back into a mixed number. Let me just extend this so everybody can see. Okay. No, oh, you're on your decimal. You're changing it back into a fraction. No decimal. You got to change your 0.61 into a fraction. There we go. Circle it, star it. You got it. How many you got it right? All right, so here's how you guys are going to break up. Regular math groups, regular math will be doing, unsalted if you will, pages 5 through 7. It's exercises 2 through 5 basically. Advanced, you're going right to the advanced group. You're just going to go right to page 8 through 12. And my answer keys are hanging up. Check along the way. Don't wait till the very end. Make sure you're doing it right. All right, group up and go.